ready to buy on eBay. You've looked through the site and you're ready to actually make your first purchase. Before we go through how to bid on items, the bidding process, etc., let's talk about one more step you'll need to complete. The vast majority of sellers on eBay require you to have a PayPal account. PayPal is a method that allows you to pay someone without exposing your credit card information or bank account information to them. You give it to PayPal, PayPal then pays the seller. So if you go to paypal.com and click sign up, you will see this page as you see here. There are two types of accounts. If all you're doing is buying and selling on eBay, you're not going to be taking money outside of eBay. All you need is a personal account. If you want to accept credit cards or other things online or in person outside of the eBay environment, or you're doing high volume, you'll want a business account. If all you want to do is buy a couple things or sell a couple things on eBay, a personal account is fine. So you'll click continue. PayPal will want some information about you. I'm not going to go through this process because I do not want to create another PayPal account. However, this process is pretty straightforward and should not be a problem. So, we're on eBay, we've logged in, and now we're ready to find our first item we wish to buy. There are several different ways to find items on eBay. We can, number one, type in the search box what we're looking for. We can browse categories using the shop by category button, or we can look at categories, popular categories here, and popular items in those categories to the right. So for example, in electronics, if we want to look at iPhones, we can click iPhone and we see all of these different items. Now when we go to an item page, this is the electronics page, we see all the categories over here on the left, and then under that we see if we want to sell one. Let's just go into iPhone, and there are, for iPhone 5C unlocked, is what I clicked, there are all of these different results. Let's do a more refined search. So let's say iPhone 5S unlocked AT&T. So we type that in and we get listings. In some categories, not all, but in some categories at the top, you will get a box like this called the refinements box. So I can specify what capacity models I want to look at and what color I wish to look at. These behave like check boxes, so I can select more than one item. More than one item. Let's look at this listing right here, just a random listing that I picked. And let's talk about the process. Now this item happens to be a buy it now item. There are two different ways to buy items on eBay. There's the auction and then there's the buy it now. This is a buy it now only item. So this item is priced at $659.99 in United States dollars. I can't bid on this item, but I can buy it instantly by clicking buy it now. Let's talk about several other things on this page. Notice, as I alluded to before, payments. This seller only accepts PayPal. So if I don't have a PayPal account, I can't buy this item. Shipping is free. Make sure to check the shipping amount of the item you wish to buy. Sometimes you will find a low price and a high shipping fee. Make sure that you're not buying a $5 item with a $20 shipping fee. eBay does not control what a seller can charge for the item or charge for shipping. They leave it up to the buyers to make informed choices. Make sure you understand the shipping cost, if any. It will be added to the price of the item. However, this seller is offering free shipping. Under shipping, you can see the item location. This iPhone happens to be in Houston, Texas. That'll give you an idea of where the item is coming from. Not all sellers will be specific. Some will just have a state, some will just have a country. And ships to, this seller will only ship to the United States. Some will ship internationally, this one will not. Some items are restricted from being shipped outside of their home country. Delivery, eBay gives you a delivery estimate of when they expect the item to arrive. These estimates are accurate if the seller ships the item on time. When they list the item, that, as you saw in our last video, they select the handling time. So based on the shipping method they selected plus the handling time is how this estimate is created. It is just an estimate. It's not always accurate. eBay's return policy, the seller's return policy is this seller will allow you to return items within 14 days. Some sellers have no returns. Read and understand the return policy before you purchase or bid on an item. Clicking buy it now or placing a bid forms a binding contract. If you win the item, you are obligated to purchase it. If you refuse, the seller can bring legal action against you to force you to pay that debt. eBay has a money-back guarantee on most items. If, for example, you buy this item, 5S 32 gig, and you get sent a 4S 16 gig, you can file a claim to receive your money back because the item that you received was not the item that was described. If you never receive the item at all, you can also file a claim. The next important thing to look at is seller information. The user ID of the seller is listed. After that is a number. This is their feedback score. The higher the number, the more activity they have on eBay. Every time someone leaves a positive feedback, the number increases by 1. A negative feedback, it decreases by 1. Underneath, you will also see the percent of positive feedback. This seller happens to be 99.2%. To find a detailed feedback report, click the number, in this case 9613. You will see in the past 6 months, there have been 410 positive reports, 5 neutral, 8 negative. Now this seller has performed a lot of transactions. When you see negative feedback, keep it in perspective, I should say. If the seller is a high volume seller, there's bound to be some negative feedback. However, if their feedback score is 5 and they have 9 negative feedbacks, then that might be a seller you wish to avoid. Feedback is there for you, the buyer, to make informed decisions. It is not a system that eBay uses to take action against sellers unless their score goes negative. As a seller, you can actually restrict buyers with low feedback from bidding on your items. So this is just one way for you to get an idea of the quality of service this seller provides. All right, on the item page itself, scrolling on down, you will see something, maybe an ad here. Description, this description is generally filled in from information that eBay pulls from the manufacturer. So this is pretty much standard information specs. Now, at the bottom, below the specs, you will see the seller's description. Read it carefully. This auction contains the phone, a charger, a data cable, the earphones in the box. The shipping policy is spelled out, the terms and payments, warranty, return, etc. This happens to be a seller that runs an eBay store. Not all sellers will do that. Some sellers will have limited information here, some will have a lot. Make sure you read and understand this information carefully. Buying an item whose description was clearly stated, for example, screen is broken. You cannot come back and say, this isn't the item that I bought. If the description says the screen is broken and you didn't read it, that is not something that you can take action on. Make sure you read and understand the description and the condition. Up here under item specifics, you'll see a condition. This item happens to be brand new. If it is used, make sure you read the condition listing carefully. You can click a read more to pop up a box to pop this out and see more information. If it is used, the seller is required to give you a condition description. For example, used, screen broken, scratch on back plate. That is a disclaimer from the seller. If you didn't read it and you bought the item expecting it to be in good condition, that's on you. Make sure you read it carefully. Let's return to another item. Let's go to the one below it. This one happens to be an auction. So this one looks a little different. Okay, this one is used. So let's look down here at the description. An item that has been used previously. This is eBay's standard description. But up here, you will see just the condition is used. And down, let's see. Used for only 2 weeks. Phone is in perfect condition. So that is the disclaimer. It's used for only 2 weeks and it's in perfect condition. So that is the disclaimer the seller gave for a used phone. If it's used, read carefully what's included. The box and all accessories are included with this phone. Some items will not include accessories if they are used or refurbished. Make sure you understand what you're buying before you bid or click the Buy It Now button. So this item's current bid is $570. And it ends in 4 hours and 52 minutes. So this is when the auction is over. Whoever has the highest bid in 4 hours, 52 minutes, and 2 seconds will win this item. If you bid and you win, it is a binding contract. Do not bid on an item you are not prepared to purchase. Now, I must bid at least $580. eBay differs from a live auction. Now, in a live auction, the auctioneer has the item and you place the bid. Let's say the item starts at $100 and the auctioneer says, do I hear 110, 110? Okay, 110. Do I hear 120, 120, 120? Yes, do I hear 130, etc. Until the next highest increment. For example, let's say the item's price, as the current price is $300. Do I hear 310? Do I hear 310? Going once, going twice. Sold. $300. eBay works differently. In the box, I type the highest price I'm willing to pay. For example, let's say I'm willing to pay $650. Go and click Place Bid. Now, I didn't actually bid. I have to click Confirm. So this is why I'm showing this to you. So the current bid is $570. The shipping on this item is $12.35. My bid amount is $650. Now that does not mean that I will pay $650 for this item. That is the maximum I'm willing to pay. What I'll actually pay if I win is between $570 and $580 and $650. The bid increment depends on the current price of the item. So if I click confirm, I would have placed a bid for $650. Make sure you double check your bid amount and make sure I didn't type in an extra zero and bid $6,500. eBay has a very strict policy on bid retractions. A bid retraction is taking a bid back. Now, if I typoed and typed the wrong amount, I can retract it and immediately place a new bid in certain conditions. And I'm limited the amount of times I can do that. But if I bid on an item and just change my mind, you can have your account suspended for retracting a bid. Check your bid carefully and only bid on items that you're committed to buy. As it says, by clicking confirm, you commit to buy this item from the seller if you're the winning bidder. So I'm not going to click confirm. I'm going to click the X. And someone else has bid on it. It's up to $570 now. So just in the time I did that, someone else bid on the item. Now, 12 people bid on this. I can click this, and I can follow the progress. So it started at 420. Someone bid 420, 450, 460. As you see, it went in $10 increments. So I can also show automatic bids. And these are bids that eBay placed for you. So if I said my total was $650, eBay will automatically bid for me in $10 increments, because that's the increment of this auction, until my maximum is reached. If I am outbid, I'll receive an email and a notification to my eBay that I'm outbid, and I can bid again. As long as the auction still has time, I can bid again, place a higher bid, a higher maximum bid, and be back in the game. Do be careful on bidding. As a seller, bidding wars where two people are bidding back and forth because they really want an item are your best friend, because guess what? Your item goes for more money. As a buyer, they're bad. Before you bid on an item, think, how badly do I want this item? And place the highest bid you're willing to pay for it. If it goes over that, think long and hard before you bid again. Do not get yourself into a situation where you paid $700, $800 for an item worth $550 because you got into a bidding war with another bidder that really wanted that item. Doesn't make any sense when you can go to the store and buy a new iPhone, for example, for $500, $600 to pay $700 for one on eBay in a bidding war. Be careful with going over the original maximum you want to pay for the item. So if the current bid is $570, don't bid $580. Bid the highest number, your highest amount you're willing to buy this item for. Now this phone, as of this recording, retails in the U.S. for approximately $699. So that would be your gauge. It wouldn't make sense to pay more than $750. Now the reason why I say that is eBay does not charge you sales tax like most states will. Now, of course, you are expected to remit sales tax when you file your income taxes. But I wouldn't pay more for an item on eBay than what I can buy it for plus sales tax, assuming the item is in stock. If it's a brand new item and it's not in stock anywhere and someone has it on eBay, that's a different story. This is a marketplace. Value is determined by what buyers are willing to pay for the items. eBay sets no maximum value. If someone wants to spend $10,000 on this phone, eBay will let them do that. And eBay will be happy about that because they'll make $1,000 in the 10% final value fee off that sale. Be more than willing to let you do that. eBay is not a seller. eBay is a marketplace. This item is being sold by DeRoy Will 1. That's the seller. eBay simply is facilitating him or her to allow them to reach buyers. And for that privilege, user DeRoy will pay a 10% fee when the item sells. So eBay is not responsible for the listings. As you see here, seller assumes all responsibility. eBay does not assume responsibility. So if this information is wrong, eBay will not assume responsibility. What they will do is go after the seller, withhold their money, or do a chargeback if you receive an item that does not match this description. That's why feedback is important. Buy items from users with good, positive feedback. Now, don't get caught up in the number. The number is simply how many transactions you've had. On my main eBay account, I've been around on eBay since 1998, but I've only done 80 transactions. I'm not a high volume seller on this particular account. So you might look at the number and say, well, that's not a very good feedback score. But if you look at the positive feedback, you'll see it's 100%. So the number is, while important, the percentage of positive feedback is the more important indication. But remember, feedback is just a gauge of what others have experienced. Your experience may vary. You might have a great experience with a seller with a poor feedback rating, or a terrible experience with a seller with a high feedback rating. It's just one gauge. So we've looked at bidding on an item, the buy it now process, and looking for an item on eBay. Let's do one more search to kind of give you an idea. So now I want to search for Huffy blue bicycle. And you see I get all kinds of items. Now we have one more type of item here. We have a buy it now with an offer condition. In classifieds, a lot of times you'll see 150 OBO or best offer. This is the same idea. I can buy this bike right now for $135.99, or I can make the seller an offer. Say, I give you $120 for it. The seller can approve that and sell the item, or reject it and say, yeah, that's too low. It's totally up to the seller whether they accept the offer or not. So this is a buy it now with an offer. Now, this item cannot be shipped. Local pickup only. So make sure on shipping, like I told you before, read the listing. Some items like this one are only for local pickup. So this item is in Dayton, Indiana. So if you're in San Francisco, California, and you win this auction, you now own a bike in Dayton, Indiana that the seller will not ship to you. So make sure you read carefully. I keep harping on that because it solves so many problems to make sure you read every word of the listing and understand it. If I'm in California and I bought a bike in Dayton, Dayton, Indiana, that the seller won't ship to me, it's a nice bike, but not, it's going to be tough to use unless I negotiate later with the seller to ship it to me, which of course will change the dynamics because they might not be willing to do that because they'll have to take the bike apart to ship it to you. So be careful and read carefully before you place a bid on an item.